Very good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss one important function of plants, photosynthesis. The site of photosynthesis is leaf, and the organelle involved in photosynthesis, it's nothing but chloroplast. So what do you mean by photosynthesis? Photo means light, synthesis means to build. It's a process by which autotrophic organism like green plants, algae and chlorophyll containing bacteria utilize the energy from sunlight to synthesize their own food. What do you mean by autotrophic organism? The organism prepare their own food material are called as autotrophic organism. So autotrophic organism utilize the energy from sunlight to synthesize their own food. What is the definition of photosynthesis? In this process, carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to form carbohydrate. During this process, oxygen is released as a byproduct. So this is the definition of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to form carbohydrate. See, what are all the requirements for photosynthesis? Sunlight, carbon dioxide, water and pigment. So these are all the requirements for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide obtained from atmosphere, water from soil and pigments, chlorophyll pigment present in the green part of the plant body, that is nothing but leaf. And the major source of energy, sunlight, light energy. So these are all required for photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to form carbohydrate. So this is only called as photosynthesis. During this process, oxygen is released as a byproduct. Just see the overall process of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight. By using chlorophyll pigment, the plant produce food material, glucose and oxygen released as a byproduct. So this is the overall process of photosynthesis. Where does photosynthesis occur? Photosynthesis occurs in green parts of the plant such as leaves, stems and floral buds. Next, photosynthetic pigments. So pigments are essential for photosynthesis. What are called photosynthetic pigments? The pigments involved in photosynthesis are called as photosynthetic pigments. There are two different classes of photosynthetic pigments: primary pigments and accessory pigments. Primary pigment, accessory pigment, these are all the two different classes of photosynthetic pigments. What is primary pigment? Chlorophyll A is known as primary pigment. It is present in all green part of the plant body. So it is called as universal pigment, primary pigment. The major function of chlorophyll A: traps solar energy and converts it into electrical and chemical energy. So chlorophyll A is the primary pigment that traps solar energy and converts it into electrical and chemical energy. Thus, it is called the reaction center. Then what are called accessory pigments? Pigments other than chlorophyll A are called as accessory pigment. For example, chlorophyll B, carotenoid. So these are all accessory pigments. What is the major function of accessory pigment? Accessory pigment absorb energy, that is sunlight energy, and it should be transferred into chlorophyll A. So carotenoid, chlorophyll A are the accessory pigment. As they pass on the absorbed energy to chlorophyll A molecule. So reaction centers and accessory pigments together are called photosystem. Reaction center, it's nothing but chlorophyll A, and accessory pigment light harvesting center together are called photosystem. So what are the reactions involved in photosynthesis? So the mechanism of photosynthesis include two different type of reaction, light reaction and dark reaction. Light reaction also called as Hill reaction. Dark reaction is known as Galvin cycle. So the entire process of photosynthesis takes place inside the chloroplast. The structure of chloroplast is such that the light dependent, that is light reaction, and light independent, dark reaction take place at different sites in the organelle. Light reaction takes place in the grana of chloroplast, dark reaction takes place in the stroma of chloroplast. Let me see light reaction and dark reaction. So light reaction is known as light dependent photosynthesis or Hill reaction or light reaction. This was discovered by Robin Hill in the year 1939. Light reaction of photosynthesis takes place in the thylakoid membrane, so grana of chloroplast. The reaction takes place in the presence of light energy in thylakoid membrane, that is grana of the chloroplast, because grana only contains pigment. Photosynthetic pigments absorb the light energy and convert it into chemical energy, ATP and NADPH2. These products of light reaction move out from the thylakoid to the stroma of the chloroplast. So this is the light dependent photosynthesis or light reaction. So the reaction which involve pigment, sunlight, water to produce ATP and light generated reducing power NADPH2. Next, dark reaction. It is called as light independent reaction. The second step, that is dark reaction or biosynthetic pathway, is carried out in the stroma of chloroplast. During this reaction, carbon dioxide is reduced into carbohydrate with the help of light generated ATP and NADPH2. This is also called as Galvin cycle. It is carried out in the absence of light, that's what it is known as dark reaction. In Galvin cycle, the inputs are carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and the ATP and NADPH2 produced from light reaction of photosynthesis. So what is dark reaction? Carbon dioxide reduced into carbohydrate, making use of ATP and NADPH2 generated at the end of light reaction. So this is called as dark reaction. So just see the overall view of light and dark reaction. So Hill and Galvin cycle. So what happened in the light reaction? The process which utilize water, sunlight, pigment to produce ATP and NADPH2. During Galvin cycle or dark reaction, carbon dioxide reduced into carbohydrate by making use of ATP and NADPH2 generated at the end of light reaction. So this is the overall view of Hill and Galvin cycle. Next, factors affecting photosynthesis. So what are the factors responsible for photosynthesis? What are the factors affecting photosynthesis? There are two different categories, internal factors and external factors. What are the internal factors affect photosynthesis? Pigments, leafage, accumulation of carbohydrates, hormones. These are all the internal factors affect photosynthesis. Then external factors, light, carbon dioxide, temperature, water, mineral elements. So these are all the external factors which affects the rate of photosynthesis. So these are all the factors affecting photosynthesis. So next let me pass on artificial photosynthesis. So far we discussed how photosynthesis take place in plants through light and dark reaction. Now what is artificial photosynthesis? Artificial photosynthesis is a method for producing renewable energy by the use of sunlight. Indian scientist C.N.R. Rao, who was conferred the Bharat Ratna in the year 2013, is also working on similar technology of artificial photosynthesis to produce hydrogen fuel. It is a renewable energy. So artificial photosynthesis is a method for producing renewable energy by the use of sunlight. So far we discussed photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? What are all required for photosynthesis? What are the reactions involved in photosynthesis? What is light dependent photosynthesis and light independent reactions of photosynthesis? Then what is the role of photosynthetic pigments in the process of photosynthesis? Then the factors affecting photosynthesis, and last, what is artificial photosynthesis? With this we finish photosynthesis. That's all about today's class. Thank you.